my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to all listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what we're going to review this week?
Well, Dave, it's one of our Patreon picks this week. It's our good friend Lee, the magician. This one is from 1971, Dave. Now, obviously, we weren't born at this time, either of us. I can safely say that without getting any age jokes in on you, Dave. It stars Roddy McDowall, Kim Hunter, and the legend that is Ricardo Montalban, Dave, who was also Khan, or whatever he is in fucking that Bob in Star Trek movie, right? Yeah, him as well. So we're going to be going back. This is the second sequel from the original Planet of the Apes, Dave. This one is called Escape from the Planet of the Apes. So, Dave, I know we touched on it a little bit last week, but any recollection of this one or any of the sequels from the first movie? Because obviously the first one was always on TV in the UK a lot.
Yeah. So we're going to hear from Lee a little bit later on, but my recollections are a bit similar to his. You know, I just remember Planet of the Apes being on all the time on TV, but I couldn't tell you which bits from which movie. It wasn't a series of movies that I would sit down and watch from the start. It was just, I mean, Chris would be like, what? I remember there were being 3 channels, and then, you know, there were 4, but that was it. So you're like, if you think about how you can flick through now, assuming you're not doing streaming, but if you were flicking through the TV, how long it'll take you, but 1, 2, 3, 4, that's it. Those are your choices, unless you're going to get the old video player out. So this one, I do remember enjoying it, but like I say, not enough to actually sit down and watch a whole movie. So, and I didn't actually realise there were 5 of the buggers, you know, and that's before the whole reboot. And so I just couldn't tell you what happened in which one. But I couldn't tell you if I've actually seen this or not. There's something familiar about it, but I'm not sure if that's because, you know, the makeup and everything. I know from the other movies, and obviously you got the same characters. I mean, what's his name? Roddy McDowall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so iconic, isn't he? You know, his voice, and I'd see him in other movies, and I'd be like, oh, it's the guy from Planet of the Apes. So, yeah, I no real recollection of this specific movie, but definitely it was just always there, always on TV. And the one that stands out, the one memory I have that stands out is being sat. We'd gone to Butlins for the week, and it fucking pissed it down all week. And I just remember, like, I was only a kid, so I wasn't hyper aware of everyone else around me, but I was there with the whole family and that. And I just remember it had been raining relentlessly for ages. And I remember my dad saying, I tell you what, if we go home now, I'll give you a tenner. I was like, sold. Yeah, I'm having a tenner. I don't know, it must have been 10 or something. But yeah, I was like, yeah, fair enough, let's do it. So that's the one standout memory for me. But how about yourself, Chris?
Well, I think the old man used to love the original one, and I always remember for the Planet of the Apes is that bit with the Statue of Liberty at the end. You know, like it's on the beach and you just see the top of like the flame and everything. And like, I don't know why, as a kid, it always used to fucking scare me. It was like, oh my God, what's going on here? But I didn't know there was these sequels. And I'd tell you why I didn't know, Dave, just to prove a fucking point. Because I started watching Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, Dave, another one we were actually reviewing for 10 minutes. And I'm thinking, I don't remember this in the trailer. So don't make that mistake, kids, because all these films are pretty much on Disney Plus, aren't they, as well, which is interesting. And I'm a big fan of the recently remade ones, you know, with Caesar and that. Like, I've got them all on Blu-ray, like, so I do enjoy them movies as well. Great movies. and loads of action and everything. And I just think it's like, they're just really, really good. Then probably over the last 10 years, aren't they? That's when they first started coming out. But yeah, with this, I've never watched them. And I always found that I never took to like the prosthetics of it all. It was before our time as well. The fact that from 68 to something like 76, 77, there was 5 movies and they were all number 1 box office, in America. They loved them. It just wasn't for me at all. And it would have been a phenomenon around the world when they come out, without doubt, why they were so popular. But I think just passed us all by, and I never wanted to watch them. I think what's even weirder, when you look at Teen Wolf, which I know is a movie we've never done yet, that was one of my favourites as a kid. Michael J. Fox does look like Planet of the Apes, even though it's supposed to be a little bit of hair.
Just remember the surfing bit.
Oh my God. The second one's even worse, that surfing bit, Dave. I remember that. But yeah, no, just never seen them, never had any interest in watching them because they were older movies. They've just something that was always on UK TV because it wasn't Star Wars, it wasn't Superman, it certainly wasn't Smokey the Bandit. Which, funny enough, Dave, I started watching again yesterday because I've not watched Smokey the Bandit 1 for 3 or 4 months, Dave. So I had it on yesterday watching it. I love it.
Had it changed?
It got better than the third one anyway, Dave. The third one is terrible. I love the fact we did that the other week. What a fucking shit movie.
It fucking absolutely was.
Oh my God.
Hot Pursuit. But
oh my God, it's a bad movie.
Chris, on that note, should we get into our trailer?
Let's go.
This is Dr. Zira, her loving husband Cornelius, and little Milo. The most dangerous to man is little Milo. Why? The time is 1973. The place is right here on Earth. How did they get here? What is their reception?
Welcome, gentlemen, to the United
Escape from the planet of the apes. Their adventures are completely fresh, completely new, astonishingly different from what you experienced in Planet of the Apes and Beneath the Planet of the Apes. At first, feared and imprisoned.
We'll take the female first. Well, she seems to be pretty smart. All right, we'll go for the banana.
Well, why doesn't she take it?
Because I loathe bananas.
I don't believe it.
Zira, are you mad? Till we know who our friends are and who our enemies...
And how in the name of God are we to know that unless we communicate? We can speak, so I spoke.
President. The president convenes a special board of inquiry.
Have you a name?
Zira.
Does the other one talk?
Only when she lets me.
Embraced by our civilization, the nation gives them a hero's welcome.
Address, please.
The zoo.
What is it?
Well, it's sort of like grape juice plus.
How is that?
Very wet.
It's certainly the most incredible story this reporter has ever covered.
And you share the impact of every incredible moment.
Must have been the shock.
Shock my foot. I'm pregnant.
The president's chief advisor wants them murdered, or else the human race cannot survive. The escape. The birth of an infant who could threaten man's very existence.
You're the second human I've kissed.
You are the first.
The relentless chase. The stunning climax.
Zira, I want that baby. If you won't give it to me, I'll shoot.
Why was Washington thrown into a turmoil by this one baby?
Stop him!
Escape from the planet of the apes.
Prior to Earth's destruction, the chimpanzees Cornelius, Zira, and Dr. Milo salvage and repair Taylor's spaceship and escape the planet. The shockwave through Earth's destruction sends the ship through a time warp that brings the apes to 1973 Earth. Now, Chris, What do you reckon to the opening of this movie?
Well, I must admit, Dave, I'm saying before the trailer, I've not watched them or anything, but it does feel quite familiar. So there's obviously bits of these movies I've watched. It feels like a TV movie, even though, obviously, I know it was massive and it was in the cinema and everything, and it made money. It made like 12 million off a 2 million budget. But I just can't get, and I know it's the early 70s and I shouldn't be a dick, but I can't get over the prosthetics, Dave. And also, I think it's the language thing. Like, it's an interesting concept as a movie that, basically roles are reversed, aren't they? In the apes world, the chimpanzee, they're in charge. The humans are like the pets, basically, and it's just flipping the whole thing. And I like the concepts of it all, but I just think, like, watching it, it's not a bad movie, this, at all. And I think there's a bigger message in it, but I'm just like, it's such fucking terrible. Like, especially Zira, like the woman, she's just like, it just, the things they do when they first capture him and that, and it's like the army are like totally like, oh my God, what do we do? And the president's involved while he's smoking his cigarette and that.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. I love all that. That's like proper.
Quite chilled, actually, the president.
Isn't he? Yeah, he's not like, General Zod or anything, Neil before Zod. This guy's just like, yeah, well, I'll just go with whatever you guys want. And I think it sounds silly because it's done the way it's done, but it's quite a political movie, isn't it?
Yeah,
the way it's shot, there's a lot of politics in it, and there's not really any action. It's more reliant on the dialogue, and obviously you've got Roddy McDowall and that, and Kim Hunter, great actor and actresses. I do think it's interesting that the Doctor who comes, who's the trivia that got me, that Sal Minia, he gets killed off at the start pretty much because he hated the prosthetics. They had to rewrite the film. Because I thought that was weird at the start. He gets killed by that gorilla, doesn't he? He's in the next cage, and I'm thinking,
Dr. Milo.
Dr. Milo, yeah, and I'm thinking the Sal Minio's the actor, and apparently he never survived after this. Like as an actor, unfortunately, he was pretty murdered a few years later.
God.
But he took this movie to reprise his career because it had done it for Roddy McDowall. Like playing Cornelius. So I think the trivia is fascinating on it. But yeah, that's why. Because I thought it was dead bizarre. He just got killed off within 5 minutes of him arriving. But that's why, because he hated how uncomfortable and claustrophobic he felt in the face stuff, the face prosthetic. So a trivia there, Dave. But yeah, interesting start to the movie, but I didn't hate it because I kept thinking after the trailer last week, Leah's fucking stitched us here. We are getting Year of the Stitch up. But I can see, I could be wrong. I genuinely haven't listened to what Lee sent in because he'll send it to you. But I would be very surprised if this isn't one of his sort of favourite childhood memories for this movie. I can completely understand why people would enjoy it because it's not a bad movie in some respects.
Yeah, definitely got that TV movie feel to it, hasn't it? And
yeah,
there is something about it, the pace of it, the dialogue. It does take me back to being a kid and watching these on TV without, like, say, having that specific memory. And it's almost like Sergeant Bilko or something at the start, isn't it? The way it all starts off. And they end up putting that prison. But I feel like there's something massively dated about it as well. In particular, Zira's character. The way she's played, it does remind me, what was that one that we watched? The Courtship of Eddie's Father.
Oh,
that was from like 63 or something like that, where women are just written as these caricatures of women, like not real women, you know what I mean? And when they're in the cage and they're trying to get him to speak, and Dr. Milo is the one who's saying, look, we shouldn't let them talk. We don't know anything about these people. But Zira's the one who's like wanting to show off that she can speak because she's like, I hate bananas, And the one bit that had me genuinely laughing was when the guys are like, well, fuck me sideways, like, these fucking chimpanzees can talk, what the fuck? And they say, they go to Cornelius and they're like, can you talk? And he goes, only when she lets me.
Yeah, no, comedy. I thought, well, that's relevant now. That's like me.
It was like a line from George and Mildred or something. I was like, oh, the long-suffering husband. And you can see Zira's like, again, the one who's wearing the trousers in the family. So yeah, even though it was a TV movie, it's got that slow sort of 70s feel. I mean, we're talking 71, so very early 70s. I was not loving it at the start, but because it was so warm and fuzzy, it felt quite nostalgic to me. I was enjoying it. I wasn't expecting that laugh out loud moment. And I would say, tonally, this is fucking weird, right? Because it's almost like a comedy. I mean, even later on, it's almost like Ramirez, isn't it, in Highlander 2, where he's doing his bit of a dress-up thing, getting suited up and whatever. You get that My Fair Lady bit as well, where they're picking out their outfits. And it's quite light in tone, isn't it? It's very comedic. And then when you get to the end, it's just like, fucking hell, it gets quite brutal.
Yeah, and you're right, Adsa, and I think what you hit on more than anything was, even though it's 71, and we've said this when we've done like movies, say, from the late 70s going into the 80s, it feels like a 60s movie. It feels like I'm watching, I know they were like UK-based like shows, but I love Randall and Hopkirk, even like the Mission Impossible stuff, and Man from U.N.C.L.E. I know they're TV shows, but it had that 60s feel to it, like it's almost like, and there's no mention of hippies, but it feels like this hippie era, the late 60s more than the 70s sort of thing. It does feel like there's a bit of an overhang the way this is produced and put together. But I'm with you, there's some really strange bits, even like when Zira goes to the women's aid fucking chat and she stood up and she's going, when you get out of bed, he could make the bed, It's not just us women or something like that. And I'm like, what's going on here? And they're on the news, aren't they, saying where they're going to be? Cornelius, and then Cornelius goes to a boxing match, doesn't he? And the doctor's there, like, fucking, and he's like, oh, it's great, this, and he's like, barbaric. Because I kept thinking about the accents, thinking, was it, obviously she's not English, is she? Was Kim Hunter English in it? I thought it was American. But it's the accents that tickle me. When you watch these sort of movies, it makes me laugh, like how, we've had it before where they're supposed to be some different world, but they've got a New York accent or something, real broad East Coast American accent. But yeah, I think you're right. I think I'm with you. It's very, very dated. And the My Fair Lady stuff, and it's almost comedic until that guy who's a bit of a bellend, he said the president saying about like, oh yeah, there could be trouble, and he's like, no, let's go with the commission's findings and all this. So it's interesting, but like I think as you get older, and maybe just because we do a lot of TV movie reviews and shit, but maybe it's like you're not as forgiving, thinking, well, that really doesn't make any sense. You've just got to dispel belief. And I read like some of this trivia, nothing to this movie, but the next one, obviously Roddy McDowall's in all the movies by the second one, other than flashbacks, but he's in all of them as Cornelius, and you're like, well, how's this happened? There's a time travel element to it, which is interesting. Apparently, like one of the main guys who was backing it had said to him, like, "Yeah, we're having a sequel." So they had to come, but I don't know.
It resurrected you somehow.
I don't know how. But I'm with you. Like the tone of the movie goes from real fun to like political to at the end. I was not expecting, and I'm not jumping to the end straight away, but yeah, it's just interesting because you've got the dynamic of the doctors, like you've got with Caesar in the other one. Where they see the good in Caesar. Obviously, the guy brings him up and everything, and you've got that about them. And when she says she's pregnant, I kept thinking, that's a mistake, that's Zira. That is a mistake straight away. We know it's part of the movie, but yeah, I think you're right. It's got a very strange tone to it, and in stages, it's almost like it's three different movies, if that makes sense. I know it's different to what we normally review, and maybe because of the age of it, movie making was completely different. But yeah, there's a different tone to this all the way through. It's interesting. Kept me gripped enough to watch it, and I watched it in one go, which is interesting. But like I say, it's not a stitch-up movie, I don't think. It's just it's one of the movies that either lands with you or it doesn't. It's passed you by because of the age.
Well, I have to say, for me, it did sort of reignite. I think probably this middle bit, the early part of so let's say the first act, the fun bit, being a miserable see you next Tuesday, that didn't grab me. But when it gets to the middle bit, and Dr. Haslin is the guy who's really going against the grain. He's the villain of the piece, isn't he? He's the one saying, well, what they've told us about the future mainly Zira. Again, she's playing that kind of almost 60s wife. She's a bit of a blabbermouth, especially when she's had a bit of grapefruit plus. You know,
yeah.
When she's had a bit of grapefruit
It's all
plus,
of us,
and
babe.
she's talking too much. And then they give her the truth serum stuff, don't they, a bit later as well. But he's the one saying, like, look, we know where this goes, so these people can't live in our time. And so we're going to have to do something about them. And the president's like, yeah, it'll be fine. We'll see how it goes, you know. And I was thinking, God, like, does he have a point? But also, they're talking about like 2,000 years in the future. Not being funny, Chris. I don't think I care that much about 2,000 years in the future. 200 years, yes. You know, so I'll be thinking, you know, you're only a few generations away for, you know, your own kids have their kids and so on. But 2,000 years, I don't know how much I'd be so passionate that I have to murder these sentient beings. But that's his kind of mission, isn't it? And again, I don't think he's necessarily... I mean, he's played a bit like a mustache-twirling villain, but I think, you know, if you'd have made this exact movie now, I think there'd have been a bit more conflict with him. You know, it's a horrible thing that he's suggesting. He doesn't have to, you know, be so relentless like the Terminator or something about doing it. I think if it was done now, he'd have had a bit of conflict about having to do this terrible thing and basically kill off the family, basically.
Yeah, I'm with you. And even with like the animals and everything that are in it, like there is real animals in this, isn't there? Like obviously.
Not the gorilla, though, who kills...
No, the gorilla.
Milo.
Fucking hell. That's like fucking trading places. Gorilla. It's fucking horrendous. And it's interesting, though. I don't know, I'm jumping a little bit, but even at the end, you have got baby chimpanzees, but then you've got people dressed up as chimpanzees as well, which looks ridiculous, even the baby. But yeah, I think there's a story to this. And I know, like, I'm just reading off the trivia, but for Kevin Smith, this is his favourite Planet of the Apes movie or one of the sequels. He loves it. He was good about it. I know. I can get it. It's very dialogue heavy. It's not on their world, is it? Where obviously in the other ones, it's the humans are going to their world. But the ship's used in quite a few of the sequels. That's the ship that was in the first one. So it's there's loads of trivia there. If you're really into Planet of the Apes, I think you'd really lap all this up, especially 5 sequels. I genuinely was like, there's no way. I just thought there was one. And this was the only sequel. And when it was like, no, they just basically just churned them up and just kept going and going and going. You're like, well, it made money. Why wouldn't you do that? You know, different sort of movie.
It's interesting, though, because I can't think of another franchise, but the convention around this time was that if you release a sequel, it's going to make less money than the previous movie. Whereas I don't know where in time it's changed. But especially if you look at like the Marvel movies, the budgets just get bigger and bigger, and then they try and make more and more at the box office. So I don't know if, like now, if people really love a movie, they'll go and watch it 2 or 3 times while it's at the cinema. And that's where you get these, you know, billion-dollar movies and stuff. Whereas here, it was just, you know, accepted that, I guess, you know, so many people will watch the first one, you'll have word of mouth, lots of people will come and watch it, but then they'll be like, oh, I don't need to see the sequel, I've already seen that world, kind of thing. So it's interesting how the movie habits have obviously changed, like the watching habits, but then that's fed into how people treat sequels. And so that's why this one's definitely feeling more like a TV movie, because you know, the budget's less than the previous 2, so fuck knows what it's like by the time you get to the 5th one.
It's like Police Academy. Maybe this is the Police Academy of the 70s, Dave.
Yeah, chimps on patrol.
Yeah, maybe by the 5th one, it's a full-on comedy where you've got a chimp with a fucking cop as a partner, Dave. Oh, you know, like a Lethal Weapon. Maybe it's like where Lethal Weapon gets the inspiration. Maybe Cornelius is Martin Riggs.
Not being funny, Chris, I would watch that.
I'm getting too old for this shit, you know? It's fucking ridiculous.
Well, as you said that, I can hear it in Roddy McDowall's voice. You know? I still want to know how he's alive again, but
Yeah,
I honestly, it has reignited my desire to go back and watch the other movies. But also, I haven't seen the latest one. I saw the rebooted one where you've got a lot more about Caesar and whatever. But I haven't seen the one after that. So I will watch it now. I didn't have any desire to watch it, but this has kind of reignited something within me, I must admit.
It's funny you should say that. Now I'm thinking, I've watched all of them. I haven't watched the one that came out last year now. I've seen all of them. Same as you. I know it's set like years in front of Caesar, basically. It's a legacy type movie, but I've never seen it actually. I need to actually watch it. I presume it must be on Disney Plus now because all the others are.
Well, it was 20th Century Fox, wasn't it? So they'd have acquired the movies when they bought 20th Century Fox. We only cared about the X-Men at the time, but they got loads of other shit as well.
Yeah, some good movies as well. But no, I think you're right. I think like as a franchise, this has got to be one of the longest running franchises as well. For like 50 years, over 50 years, this has been, well, nearly 60 years, I suppose, now, Dave. We're getting old. But
I was going to say, it's more than that because 60, fucking Star Wars has been going for nearly 50.
Yeah, God, yeah. So it's nearly 60 years old, the franchise. 1968, yeah, it should be 28. So that's a long franchise to keep going and bring out like different movies. I never really give it the respect it has as a franchise, really. It's never renowned as like a Star Wars or even, Dave, even dare I say it, Fast and Furious franchise, Dave.
No Surrender.
Well, listen, I was looking at my... So the reason I watched Smokey and the Bandit was because I was ironing. I don't mind a bit of ironing. I had everyone's clothes for our upcoming trip. So I was like, right, give us your stuff. I always put a film on. So I watched a bit of YouTube. I was like, I've got to watch the fucking Bandit. Especially cleanse my palate after fucking Smokey Free and all that shit. So I ended up... But I did almost put on No Restrict, No Surrender Free. And I'm like, put it on. Do I put the fucking Alexander boys back then? I've not seen him for a while. And I didn't, to be fair. But yeah, it is. It's a weird franchise that probably doesn't get the credit it deserves. It's quite undervalued, really, or underappreciated. But no, I think as a movie, the whole idea, obviously, they end up going on the run. There's this thing with Cornelius. He didn't kill that guy or anything, did he? However, it all looks...
I think he did, though, didn't he? But it was obviously going south for them. So he was being a bit of a shithead to Zira. And so he kind of pushed him away, and obviously it's in movie speak. That's enough. I mean, he's a chimpanzee, isn't he? So he's fucking strong compared to the humans. So he's kind of knocked him away, and he has ended up killing him. Not intentionally.
Yeah, not intentionally.
A manslaughter charge. But
it's going down for a 5 stretch, not a 20 stretch. But no, I meant like it wasn't premeditated or anything like that. But then I think like even when they sort of end up at the zoo, and they see, I'd said last week, Ricardo also, I'm like, well, where is he? Maybe he's in an outfit, and there he is, playing a good guy, Dave, which is interesting.
I know, it was very weird, that, wasn't it?
Humanitarian, I might say, and even give the old, oh God, he was proper going Catholic. What did he give him? He give him the, they give him like
the rosary beads or something? Or...
Yeah, the, Francis of Assisi, wasn't it? Yeah. And
I'm not Catholic, so I have no idea.
I was brought up Catholic, Dave. Fucking nonsense. But anyway, anyone who is Catholic, just ignore that. Yeah, but it does nothing. Offend everyone. But no, it was strange, like that whole bit with the circus. They end up in the circus with the animals, and there is lions, and I think there's a leopard there in the cages and stuff. Again, like you said, Dave, load of bullshit though with the actual fucking gorilla and everything. The guy dressed up as a chimpanzee when having the babies, but they are baby chimpanzees because when Zira has the baby and she's next to it, she's like kissing it. I bet the fucking little chimpanzee's going, fuck me.
What the fuck is going on?
Going on here? What's going on here? It's weird.
Here's the thing, talking about a year gone by. So, you went to Benidorm lots as a kid. Do you remember they used to come around with chimpanzees?
Yes.
And sit them on, and you'd have your picture.
Yes.
I honestly, it sounds so wrong, right? I used to love that. Every year when I'd be in Spain or something, I'd look at, I get a different picture with a different chimpanzee, and I'm like, fucking hell, that was horrendous.
Yeah.
It's just such a mad thing to think back about, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's bad. I've got pictures of somewhere like parrots, and you're thinking, they all look great, but it's that thing was, full well, there's stuff going on in the background there. Yeah, there's stuff going on there in the background that's like really, they're docile, aren't they? They're doing things and stuff to them. It's not nice. But yeah, as kids, we were none the wiser, were we? That's an education thing, isn't it? Like now, it's like with Sam. She grew up in a family where she loved, Dad loved the gamble and everything, and it used to be a family thing, the Grand National. She will not do anything now because of the treatment of the horses. Just as she's got older, she loves animals. She's just her choice. We don't even bet on it or anything. And, I'll bet on the footy, but that's about it. But yeah, it's weird how things change as you get older and you become more aware, because you think even the donkeys at Blackpool, Dave, it never sat well with me as a kid. I used to think that, thinking, like, they must run them into the ground. You'd see them going up and down, like taking people in the carts, but then you'd have them like the rides on the donkeys. It's a big thing there, isn't it? I know probably now they're a bit better off, but I reckon years ago it wouldn't have been a nice experience for the animals. That's like one of, you only know as you get older, as you become more aware of what goes on in the world.
Did I ever tell you? This was before I joined the band.
You didn't fuck a donkey, did you?
No. No, so I went to Sardinia to play like a little festival. Now it sounds very grand, like you're playing a massive fucking festival or something. It's this weird thing where like loads of bands like set up, and it's almost in the middle of streets, and there's loads of different venues. So you kind of walk around and you can see loads of different bands who are all playing at the same time. I'm sure I've got some pictures somewhere of it. But it was a cool thing, like the drummer was from Sardinia, so that's how we ended up getting hooked into that. So it was great, we sort of went across, I'm sure we went across for like a week or at least 4 or 5 days or something. It was a great time. And I just remember after the gig, we kind of, packed up and everything, and then we got taken out to this, it was like this weird, I want to say street restaurant or something like that. So, open air, and you walk in, there's loads of chairs and tables and stuff set up, but you basically had 2 choices. You had snake or meat. And basically I walked in, looked at the fucking snake, and I'm like, it's fucking bit Indiana Jones, isn't it? There's no way I am eating snake. Give me the fucking meat. And then I'm eating the meat, and it's bit fucking weird, this. I don't really recognise it as a meat that I've known before. I'm not sure if this is what turned me vegetarian, actually, with the trauma. And eventually, the drummer said, "Oh yeah, it's donkey."
Oh no!
Like, you fucking see you next Tuesday. I was thinking, do you go out the back and have your picture with the donkey like before they carve it up and fucking cook it? I was like, oh, you bastard. So yeah. So I have eaten donkey, not knowingly at the time, but just after I'd already had some.
Oh, you know what? I've got a story, Dave. I know I have a story. I know I've told you the story about the Benidorm. You talk about Benidorm eating horse meat in Benidorm,
right? Possibly, but it doesn't ring a bell.
So we used to love. Well, no, we didn't love, but because my dad just didn't like flying, we used to have to go. I've told you before, 36 hours from Manchester to Benidorm on a coach from Cholton Street. Fucking hated every minute of it, Dave. Why we couldn't get on a plane for 2 hours, I don't know. The guy's a cock anyway, but that's beside the point. So we used to have to go on this coach, and remember, we get there once, and there's something wrong with the room. And my dad, who is useless without his glasses on, says that the room that should have been the extra room. So bear in mind, you know how many siblings I've got. At the time, I think there was 7 of us. So my little sister was probably a couple of months old. So I'm about 14. There was 7 of us. And he goes to open this side door, which should have had this double two beds in. He went, oh my God, it's a sheer drop. Oh my God. So we're there about 8, 9 o'clock at night. He goes, we can't go out here. There's nothing there. And I'm like, it's a sheer drop. I'm like, we're on like the 12th floor or whatever we are in Benidorm. I'm like, are you sure? And I'm like, I'm just taking his word for it. So then me and my mum decide we've then got to go traipsing around Benidorm to try and like get hold of the fucking coach drivers, Dave. I don't know what they were going to do because they were part of the holiday firm. Yeah. We go and see them. So they're like, right, we're going to move you. So we had no food or anything, but then my dad's got the others there at like the apartment. My mum and me go to the supermarket. We get like ham, cheese, and the old French baguettes, Dave, just to keep everyone going till the morning. So in the morning, so we come back and we're eating these sandwiches, and I'm like, fuck me, this ham is tough. It was like eating the sole of my shoe, like fucking horrendous, Dave. Like, honestly, I never forget it. I had cheese on. It was awful. It was just like, what are we eating? And anyway,
I think you've spoiled it.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So it was fucking horse tongue, right? That's what we were eating, Dave, which was disgusting. But what was even better was this room that had a sheer drop. My dickhead dad, without his glasses on, was seeing the reflection of the room behind him. He opens the door. There's two lovely beds. I'd lay on the fucking floor on it's like in Spain on them fucking marble floors with a sheet and probably no fucking pillar. And then he was like, oh, and it was, oh, Dave, how everyone laughed. I'm like, you fucking bellend. We'd had fucking sugar, and they had to lay on the fucking marble floor like we were some fucking tramps, hobos. I mean, my mum and dad got their double bed though, Dave. Yeah, when the fucking rest of us are all lay on the floor. To my two sisters had the other bed, which is right. And me and Adam and Nathan were on the fucking floor with it freezing our nuts off. What a fucking
I can feel the cold marble as you describe it.
Well, you know better than anyone, Dave. You know my fucking appreciation for my old man. But that was one of them stories where I'm like, you're a fucking cock. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Fucking ridiculous. It's fucking. It's one of them stories that you said about donkey meat. I mean, I've had crocodile in Australia. That was lovely. That was like chicken, really soft chicken.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. Very surprising because you ate it, and I was like, "That's lovely." Now, where'd you get that chicken from? They're like, "Yeah, that's crocodile," but it was lovely. It was really nice meat. But yeah, don't ever eat horse meat, people, or donkey meat by the sounds of it, Dave.
Yeah, it was not good. Really fatty, and it's just not a good experience. But Chris, we've kind of alluded to it a little bit as we get into the third act of this movie. So you've got Cornelius and Zira. They're on the run. They've had the baby. They've been told, that they can go and hide out in this ship. I mean, Cornelius is walking around like he's on fucking holiday or something in plain sight of everyone.
Yeah, no. I know. And she's calling out, and he's just like looking over his shoulder going, oh, are you okay? You know, it's like, I fucking don't give a fuck about her. But yes, I'm with you. It's bizarre, that whole scene at the end, innit, on the boat.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit with the movie, I don't think, that end bit.
Well, it gets really dark, doesn't it? Because obviously Dr. Haslam, he sees them, and then again, it's one of these silly things. So, he's a doctor, but also he's got his own gun. He's a murderer as well. So not only does he think morally, for the sake of the human race, they have to kill the baby in particular. I don't know if he's sort of thinking too much about Cornelius and Zira. It actually gets a bit eugenics, doesn't it? They can stick around, but they'd have to be sterilized, kind of thing. But it's when he's chasing her with the gun, and you think, where's this gonna go? But then she drops the fucking baby, and you don't see like a chimp being shot. You just see the clothes, like the wrap that the baby's in, but fucking shoots the baby chimp.
Yeah,
fuck me. And he shot her as well. She has a slower death because she ends up, crawling to the edge of the ship and then dropping the baby chimp off the edge of the ship. And you're like, fucking hell. And then Cornelius is shot. I think actually that's before Cornelius gets shot, before she puts the chimp in the water. And then when he dies, he makes this weird sound that's like, it's really weird, I've been fucking shot, you bastard sound. But it was just really strange. It was a weird choice for them to make it. But then he falls, he's clearly dead as well. And I'm like, well, fuck me, I don't remember any of this. When it was on fucking Sunday afternoon on Channel 4 or something. But yeah, it's really, really dark at the end.
Yeah, I'm with you. I wasn't expecting that. I expected one of them to get shot or something, because he'd gone a bit maniacal, and he'd sort of warned the president, and the president was having none of it. And he's like, well, I'll just take matters into my own hands. And I'm with you. When he's shot, the baby. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? And then I must admit, Dave, at that point, I did also think, I don't think there's any way coming back now for, Cornelius and Zira, she'd obviously been shot as well, but what a strange ending. And you've got the doctor and his missus there, who obviously, they loved them both, because there was that weird scene just before where he's like, where she kisses the doctor. No, I'm sorry, Dave. She went, it's the second time I've kissed a human. And he was a bit lingering to say, see you later. And then Cornelius went, well, fuck it, I'm going to have a bit of your missus. You're the first one I've kissed as well. And then he kisses the blonde piece. And I'm like, the fuck's going on here? This isn't I'm sure there's movies out there. And you can
I've downloaded the wrong Escape and Planet.
Planet of the Apes. The Dirk Diggler version. It was fucking weird. I was like, that kiss was lingered for far too long. I was like,
it wasn't a little peck on the cheek, was it? It was borderline there. So yeah, very strange. I'd forgotten about that. I'm glad you reminded me.
Fucking brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But yeah, I'm with you. Like, what an interesting movie at the end. Like I said earlier, we've had like 3 or 4 movies in one. We've had the TV side of it. You've had like the big sort of epic bit, and at the end, it just didn't fit for me with what we'd watched, if that makes sense. I know there had to be a conclusion, and there was always going to be some shit or, some issue there. There has to be, but I didn't expect everyone to get wiped out, Dave. I was very surprised by that. I really was. But yeah, interesting movie. And I'm really, actually, I know you've got it. I'm really intrigued what Lee thinks, because I don't know whether he thought it was a stitch up or what. So I just want to know where the angle is, how he found out or watched the movie sort of thing. Because I'd never heard of this sequel, I must admit. I don't think I've ever seen it on UK TV.
Yeah, well, what I will say though, I mean, the oh shit moment, which I think honestly was shot really badly, is the very last moment. You get to see old Khan there. He's got his circus, and you get to see the baby chimp. Yeah, you swap the fucking chimps, and I'm like, okay, I'm not sure how I feel about that, because you've knowingly swapped the chimps, almost knowing that the baby chimp who can't speak is going to be killed, or there's a high probability of that. It was kind of wrong, but I sort of appreciated it as well. Although I think they could have done a bit better with the effects. It's weird. They wanted to do that mama, 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 but you can see the camera moving, like they're just winding the tape forward and backward.
Yes. Yeah.
So it looked a bit shit, but I think just do one mama or something. That'd be okay. That'd be enough to tell the audience. Can you imagine being in the cinema in 1971, that final moment, and you're like, oh shit, the fucking talking chimp is in our time. It's in 1971. And so, what's going to happen now? And obviously we've got the benefit of hindsight in seeing the rebooted movies and stuff, haven't we? So I think that very last moment, that's the thing that's reignited my passion for wanting to go back and watching all the sequels.
Yeah, because I'm with you, because that bit was weird. I kept thinking, this was fucking TV glitch there. What was going on? But it wasn't. It was for that. It did look stupid. But then I'm also thinking, is that Caesar, Dave?
Yeah.
Is that the perfect? Yeah. So, yeah, I'm with you. There's a lot of unanswered questions at the end. And it's quite haunting, the mama bit. It went on the screen, went black, and it carried on. So I think if you were watching that years ago, that would get a lot of people going, I want to watch the sequel.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
Yeah. Well, Chris, should we get into our final review?
Let's go. So, Dave, normally I'd jump in and do my review and what I thought of the movie, but I think I'm really intrigued what Lee actually thinks of this. So can we play his message first, Dave? Because I want to know what he scores it at and what the backstory is on how he's picked this one.
Let's do it. Here's the man himself.
Hi, guys. So I know it's the year of the stitch up, but I wanted to throw you a little bit of a softball. Not too much of a softball. But I was thinking... It was briefly mentioned once on the podcast over the last couple of months. You should do a Planet of the Apes movie. Just in the past, and Babe said it, and I thought, Yes, you should. So, here it is. Escape from the Planet of the Apes. The third and probably fourth best in the series. Planet of the Apes movies, I grew up obsessed with these movies. I never had them on video because they were on Channel 4 almost every week. So I would watch Planet of the Apes, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Escape from Planet of the Apes, Conquest of Planet of the Apes, Battle for the Planet of the Apes, in random order. And usually I would only see parts of them at a time. So to me it was all one massive movie, except for the first one. I remember staying up and watching that live, loving it. As each movie in this series goes on, the budget is cut more and more. So by the time we get to the third one, the budget is okay, not great. By the time we get to the last one, they're basically filming in a field. And half the masks are falling off. It's great. But this one, it's not the best in the series. But I think, other than the first one, which is a classic, but it's also well-trodden ground, this one is probably giving you the most to speak about. Hopefully, whether you love it or you hate it, I hope you've got an appreciation for the kind of childhood I had, where this was like the peak of my entertainment. So, I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts. I'm looking forward to hearing your individual thoughts, and if you're both like, this is shit, or if you're both like, this is okay, because no one's going to say this is great. It's a movie out of the series that I saw least of back in the day. But I think it's an interesting one because they go to Earth as we know it, or as we knew it in the 70s, where a man could still slap a woman, and it was just laughed about. Yeah. Anyway, I'll leave you with the movie. Right. Thanks very much for reviewing it. Keep up the good work. The podcast is amazing. I think I speak for all of us when we say, that's enough. Give it up. You've done too much. It's reached its peak. You can end it. No more. Only kidding. We love it. Want more and more. Keep the content coming. And man, I cannot wait for my next pick, because, as I said, this is not a stitch up. The next one most certainly will be.
Sounds ominous.
All the best. Feel free to edit whatever you want out of this, because I am rambling on. But yeah, I was going to say see you soon. I won't. But I'll look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thanks very much, guys. Bye.
That's good, that, Dave. Cheers, Lee. That was really nice, that, as well. And that makes sense, because obviously Planet of the Apes must have been like the Back to the Future or fucking Fast and Furious of ITV2 era, that were just on a loop. Back to the Future's been on ITV2 for years now, unfortunately. It sort of ruins the myth.
Like how he said, this isn't a stitch up, but it's probably the fourth best out of 5.
And the fifth one, they're in a field. Love it. No, thanks, Lee. That's really nice. Really nice to say about the podcast. We do appreciate it. But yeah, interesting, Dave. Interesting, and that makes perfect sense. So I think it gives me a bit of clarity where I'm going to put it, Dave. So it was okay. I think it's not the greatest movie ever. The end bit really caught me off guard, as we both said. And I think watching it in one go really helps as well. And just knowing that it's part of this bigger franchise, I had no fucking clue there was 5 movies. That's ridiculous. Chris, you've absolutely bellend. Just totally thought this was the sequel to the first one. Yeah, I did enjoy it in parts. I think there's some good acting. It's very dialogue heavy. There's not a lot of action, which is quite interesting for this movie. Maybe that's to do with like the budgets and things like that. I think I'm going to put it in Elm Street, Dave. I don't think it's the worst movie I've ever seen. It certainly wasn't a stitch-up. But I also think it is of its time. And I know I wouldn't have watched this as a kid at all, unless it was on and I'm sat with like my grandparents or something being forced to watch it or being bribed by eating clubs or penguins or something, Dave. Then other than that, yeah, it's not. I wouldn't have picked it, but yeah, I did enjoy it. It wasn't horrendous. It's just not my sort of movie, really. I don't think so. What about yourself?
Well, it's a bit of a flip from last week, because I think I sent something to Elm Street and you sent to Hill Valley. For me, this is a Hill Valley. In the first act, really, I wouldn't have thought I'd be sending it there. But I definitely did get enjoyment out of it. As you said, it's almost like 3 movies in one. It's like, this fun, kind of bit jokey. I fucking love that line about this, downtrodden Cornelius only speaking when Zira lets him. I just love it. But then it gets all quite political and, with some of the dialogue, asking some really tough questions about what would you do in this scenario. And then at the end, absolutely brutal. Not what I expected from this, what I know as this TV movie type thing. And then with that final ending, that was it. That set the fire off again to make me want to go back and watch the rest of the sequels. I'll probably start with the more recent ones and then go into the back catalogue as well. So I thought, I'm forgiving of the prosthetics. I just think, for me, they've just always been there. So when I think Planet of the Apes, I think of, Cornelius in that particular mask. And I think for, the late 60s, early 70s, I think it looked good for that time. If you look at some of the other sci-fi stuff that was out there, like your Doctor Who's and whatever, I think this stands up in comparison. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. But right in the middle for me. I can see why, it's not a fantastic movie, but it has left me with those lingering thoughts about, what would you do and the brutality of the ending and kind of where it goes. So, yeah, that's why I think I enjoyed it more probably after the movie had finished than actually when I was sat down watching it.
Oh, interesting. I can't disagree with you, Dave, because I was thinking, do I put it in the middle as well? But I just, it wasn't, I know it's not something I'd probably go or recommend to anybody. But anyway, Dave, it is the year of the stitch up. And Lee, lovely comment. He has got one in his back pocket for his next pick. But next week, it's my pick, Dave. Now, this movie is a movie I'm pretty certain you haven't seen. Now, we've talked about it before. I've mentioned it. I was going to pick it, and I've sort of sat on it to pick it. I've only ever watched this once, and I did enjoy it when I watched it. However, it's at 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, Dave. It has a 24% aggregate user score. This one, Dave, is from 1986. This one is the only movie ever directed by Mr. Stephen King, Dave. It stars Emilio Estevez. This one, Dave, is Maximum Overdrive. So let's get into the trailer.
Oh, you've mentioned this one a few times,
Yeah. I can't believe we've seen this, Dave. I'm not like his sci-fi movies.
What the dickens is going on around here?
Speaking of TV movies.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought this was really good. It's got an iconic car truck in a mini see. Some of those trucks. You see that a lot of Comic-Con stuff in America. Or movie prop cars.
I've definitely seen this, but I don't really remember a lot about it.
Oh, so you've seen it, yeah?
I think so, yeah. I think I went through a bit of a Stephen King phase.
Yeah. That under the beard.
I'm Green Goblin.
Yeah.
You're going to get us in an awful lot of trouble, man. We already in trouble.
Maximum terror.
Jesus coming in here.
I don't remember that.
Tomorrow will be our world again.
Dino De Laurentiis presents Stephen King's Maximum Overdrive.
Very interesting. And I think what it is with the Stephen King stuff, we've talked before about, watching the Freddy movies, the Elm Streets, I remember watching Hellraiser, just be scared the shit out of me. And so there was something with Stephen King where it's almost like a gateway to horror. It's not really ever that scary. So I think that's why I liked watching the Stephen King movies, because it felt like I was being grown up, but without fucking cowering behind the sofa and hiding under my bed sheets at night because Freddy's coming after me or something. So yeah, no, look forward to this one actually.
Yeah, it's just something different. And I mean, I think I watched this around the same time I watched Christine as well. And I think you're right, because I'm such a shithouse with horror movies. They were never enough for me to be like, oh my God, but I don't even know how I ended up watching this. I don't know if I watched it on TV, but yeah, I didn't hate it. but looking at the scores and the backstory, the fact that when people say, apparently he gets asked all the time, why have you not directed any more movies, Stephen King? And he just goes, just watch Maximum Overdrive and you'll understand why. So he knows himself that he was terrible as a director, better as a writer. So, yeah, I just wanted to pick this one. It is a year of Stitch Up Dave, but I've got a feeling I may end up stitching myself up with this because I've not seen it for so long. I want to get you back, but I don't think I will be. I think I'm probably setting myself up for failure. But anyway, so massive thank you to everyone. Big thanks again to Lee for picking this week's movie. Really appreciate it, mate. And everyone else, if you want to support us, please get over to patreon.com/The VHS Strikes Back. If you want to email us, the VHS Strikes Back @gmail.com. And funny enough, Dave, we've not had any emails recently regarding are we going to be doing any martial arts classes or, karate and stuff. So if you do interested in that sort of thing or surf lessons that we've had in the past, please contact us. We'll be happy to discuss them and what our rates are. And then also, if you do like the podcast, please get over to your podcast catching app and drop us a review on the show. We do appreciate that. It just helps us get up in the charts and gets back to being number one, Dave, in the Bahamas, which we have been at some point in our career. So it was always a highlight. We never got a holiday over there. Anyway, talking absolute shit now. But so Dave, we're at this point where I know you've got a musical number, but I also know from our discussions off the podcast, you've got an absolute gem up your sleeve. So what have you got for us today, my friend?
Well, I think I have, but I will, before we kind of close out, I just want to mention about Lee as well. So he does have a YouTube channel. It's called The Movie Vent. He does kind of movie reviews as well with his ventriloquist dummy, Ned. So I'll drop a link in the show notes and then go over there and give him a subscribe. Chris, for the musical number, I always go through the same process, and it's weird because I expect it now, but I finish watching the movie and I'm like, I ain't got a fucking clue where to start. I get agitated with myself. It's like I've created a rod for my own back. And I was thinking, 71, so, what sort of bands were around then? And maybe going down that route, or there was nothing really from the movie that stood out. It wasn't like a Wanderers where it's all like kind of rock and roll. And so it's like, it led me and made it a non-decision. But for this one, I'm thinking, Planet of the Apes, what can I do? And I've done this sometimes where I'll think back to like around 2008 when you and I were in the band and, we would do a lot of older stuff, which, I was always a bit grumpy about. But then we do the Oasis stuff, the Stone Roses. And then we were probably one of the first cover bands to ever cover the Arctic Monkeys. Oh. So even before they released that first album, they obviously got quite big with the demo sort of EP thing, didn't they? And I thought, whoa, let's do that. Let's go down an Arctic Monkeys route. And I have to say, playing around with this one, it might be one of my favourites that I've put together. But I think part of it is nostalgia, thinking about back to that time. I think it's one that I could see us actually playing through as well. So here we go. This one is called The Baby's the Key.
Trench coat, Cornelius and Zira, creatures from the future dropping out the sky. Scientists are baffled, the public's kinda charmed, clapping at the zoo while the government's alarmed. The doctors are stressing, testings we've overlooked. If they're bringing in our time now, we're all completely fucked. On the run, hey, trying to hide from the sun, hey, talking shit with a plan, in a world on the edge of a gun. Oh, they came from the sky. Whoa, now they're saying goodbye. Whoa, baby's the key to the future of you and me. They orgies the courtrooms, talking polite, but the suicidals and patients with every night. Just a couple chips with tall tale, but the dark has got a fly and it ain't going too well. Hunting down the ship's sound, a circus tents, with the plot twist darker, the man's intense. Lights on the road, trying to hide from the sun, talking shit with a plan, in a while on the edge of a gun. They came from the sky, now they're saying goodbye, but the baby's the key to the future of you and me. And as a monkey in the circus with an honest stare, he ain't throwing peanuts, mate, he's taking you there to a timeline where humans ain't got a throne, and sees us just a lad with a megaphone. Lights on the road, trying to hide from the sun, talking shit with a plan, in a while on the edge of a gun. They came from the sky, now they're saying goodbye, but the baby's the key, the baby's the key to the future of you and me. For the future of you and me. For the future of you and me.
So there you go, Chris.
Very good. Very good. It sounded very libertinesy as well, Dave.
Could be a bit of that as well, yeah. But just that kind of, mid to late 2000s indie sound. And it's the chorus that I've found really sort of catchy. And, I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's a good one, that. Very good. Very catchy as well. I like the hook at the end of each verse as well. It was good.
Yeah.
Very good.
No,
Nice type of song, that, Dave.
I thought it would be. But, Chris, what are you going to take us out with today?
Well, Dave, I was prepared for a change. And there was a line in the movie which, I feel is quite appropriate. So Dr. Zira, she's there talking to, the women's aid about life. And I quoted it wrong before, but it's something that I want to bring up today. So what she says is, a marriage bed is made for two. But every damn morning it's the woman who has to make it. We have heads as well as hands. I call upon men to let us use them. And at that point, Dave, I'm going to have a word with Sam because she's upstairs, Dave. So thanks for that, Dr. Zira. I'm going to take that into a marriage and see where we'll feedback next week, Dave. Or maybe I won't, but anyway.
This is wrong where my mind went to there. So
exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks to all our supporters. Thanks to all our listeners. And we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back. That's odd.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off.
Get to the chopper!
One ring to go.
All right. Ding, ding.
Bust you up. for it.
Well, here we go. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on. Come on, ain't so bad. You ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid fool. Maybe you crazy something. I ain't breathing heavy. He's a fool. He's stupid. I see you in 6 months.
I must break it.